the colonizer who tried to buy Africa, Cecil Rhodes. Welcome back. In the late 19th century, when Britain's empire stretched across the globe, one man dreamed not just of wealth, but of painting the entire African continent red with a Union Jack. That man was Cecil Rhodes, and at the height of his power, he controlled 90% of the world's diamond market. His fortune was so vast, his ambition so limitless, that he once declared, "The more the world we inhabit, the better it is for the human race." But of course, when Rhodes said human race, what he meant was a British race. Cecil John Rhodes was born in 1853 in Bishop Stortford, England, the fifth son of a vicar. Sickly from childhood, plagued by lung problems, his parents feared he wouldn't live long. At just 17, he was sent to South Africa for the warmer climate, hoping the sun and dry air would keep him alive. That move, driven by fragile health, would change not just his life, but the destiny of Southern Africa. He arrived with almost nothing, but within a few years he was knee-deep in the diamond field of Kimberley, a dusty frontier where fortunes were being carved out of the earth with picks and shovels. The young Rhodes was shrewd, even ruthless, from the start. While others focused on digging, he saw the bigger game, consolidation. The diamond field were chaotic, with hundreds of small claim holders competing, fighting, sometimes even killing over precious stones. Rhodes began quietly buying up claims, securing financing from wealthy backers in England. His health might have been weak, but his ambition burned white-hot. By 1888, he had maneuvered himself into control of the most powerful diamond company in the world, De Beers Consolidated Mines. That empire, still synonymous with diamonds today, was his brainchild. At its peak, it controlled 90% of global diamond production. Think about that. 9 out of every 10 diamonds on a bride's finger in Europe or America had passed through Cecil Rhodes's hands. But diamonds were just the beginning. Rhodes's ambition stretched far beyond wealth. He dreamed of a British empire that would cover Africa from Cape to Cairo. His obsession wasn't only with resources, but with domination, a belief in Anglo-Saxon supremacy that today reads as chilling but was central to his worldview. He once wrote, "I contend that we are the finest race in the world, and the more of it we inhabit, the better for humanity." It wasn't just arrogance, it was a blueprint for colonization. In 1890, at only 37, Rhodes became Prime Minister of the Cape Colony. With political power now in his grip, he pushed policies that disenfranchised black Africans and tightened white control. At the same time, he set his sights on the vast, mineral-rich lands north of South Africa. Using both diplomacy and deception, he secured charters for his British South Africa Company, which effectively functioned as a private empire backed by London financiers. It was under Rhodes's direction that vast swath of land was seized, and entire territories were named after him: northern and southern Rhodesia, today's Zambia and Zimbabwe. Few men in history have had entire nations carry their name. But of course, ambition this vast could not come without controversy. Rhodes's ventures were marked by exploitation, manipulation, and outright theft. He used treaties, often misunderstood or forced upon African chiefs, to strip communities of their land and resources. His policies laid the groundwork for apartheid, embedding a racial hierarchy that would scar southern Africa for generations. Even at home in Britain, not everyone admired him. Some saw him as a visionary empire builder, but others whispered about his arrogance, his monopolistic tactics, and his moral compromises. One of his greatest failures came in 1895 with the infamous Jameson Raid. Seeking to expand British control into the Transvaal, where gold had been discovered, Rhodes supported a plot to overthrow the Boer government. The raid was a disaster, ending in humiliation and international scandal. Though Rhodes escaped with his fortune intact, his reputation in politics never fully recovered. Still, in business and colonial expansion, his influence only grew. By the time of his death in 1902, at just 48 years old, Cecil Rhodes was unimaginably wealthy. His estates, his mining monopolies, his land holdings, all testified to a man who had reshaped a continent to his will. And yet, despite his controversial legacy, he ensured his name would live on in more subtle ways. In his will, Rhodes left much of his fortune to establish the Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford University. Today, some of the world's most influential leaders, from Bill Clinton to Mandela's successor, have been Rhodes scholars. It's a paradox. A man who believed in racial supremacy also created one of the most prestigious scholarships that opened doors for talented individuals worldwide, regardless of race or origin. The story of Cecil Rhodes forces us to ask uncomfortable questions. Was he a genius visionary, building infrastructure, universities, and businesses that helped shape modern Africa? Or was he, as many argue, the prototype of the exploitative colonizer, greedy, arrogant, and blind to the human cost of his ambitions? Perhaps he was both. What's undeniable is the scale of his influence. Few individuals have managed to put their stamp on geography, politics, economics, and education the way he did. If there's a lesson in Rhodes' story, it's that ambition without restraint can reshape the world, but not always for the better. His diamonds glittered, his empire stretched across maps, but the foundations were built on dispossession and racial inequality. His life reminds us that legacy is complicated. Some will praise you, others will curse you, and history will do both. So when you see a diamond sparkle or hear of a Rhodes scholar walking the halls of power, remember the man behind it all, a sickly boy sent to Africa to survive, who instead tried to buy an entire continent. If you enjoyed this story, leave a gemstone in the comments.